Who is this they themselves that she talks about? That was a very odd thing, wasn't it?
It's just...
That she sort of went into... It's like she mentions Phil once at the beginning and then not anymore after that. And most people, certainly in the papers this morning, are categorising it as a bit of a throwing of Phil under the bus.
I think it definitely
and
is.
It kind of was, you know, she might have looked all smiley and wearing a nice white dress, but that was a killer punch, wasn't it?
It was very... I mean, she kind of plays a bit of a ditzy role on This Morning, but she is clever.
Yeah.
She's so savvy, and she knew that she had to... That was... Everyone was watching. I think the viewing figures went up by about 300,000.
Did they?
When everyone
Did they
tuned
stay
in.
high, or did they drop down a bit?
So as soon as she'd finished, dropped down another 200,000 they lost.
Really? Wow. That's incredible, isn't it?
Because everyone just tuned in to watch that, and I was one of the ones that was there to report on it and to see what she had to say. I thought that... I mean, she delivered it perfectly. She'd obviously been rehearsing it, but it's just one of those statements that just felt insincere. We had loads of experts talking to us at The Sun, just saying, you know, how it just was contrived, the way that she'd written it to sort of distance herself from Phil, to have that, you know, it's as if, like, right, this is the new chapter, it's just me and you with the viewer, and then you've got they over there.
Yes, that's interesting, actually. Piers Morgan was very funny last night because he played that, and then he played the... He said, I was trying to remember what it reminded me of, and then he played the opening to the morning show, you know, when Jennifer Aniston's apologising for her co-presenter who's missing because he's been done for some sexual innuendo or other. And it was very similar, because it's all about we and with the family, and, you know, we're all here for each other, and we need to heal together. And it's like, oh, please, do us a favour. And the laugh at the end of Holly's speech when she hugged that woman from
I know.
Brother.
Oh, honestly.
And it was just like, oh, it's just a family. It's not. I mean, I keep saying this to people, but it's more like the Borgias or the Corleone family than it is about anything else, you know.
It is interesting about that Apple series, though, because they even... Phil and Holly are actually in the background of one of the episodes. So they've got a TV screen when they're doing all of these kind of crisis talks, and it's just so odd that then Holly finds herself in that same position, and then going on to anchor with a female who'd already been on the show and had worked.
And that's the big question, isn't it, today? Is she going to anchor the show on her own? Is she going to have a co-host? Who, if so, who's that going to be?
Well, it seems to be as if they're just going to carry on as normal. And it's like, oh no, well, Phil, you know, he was here for 21 years, but actually no, he's just not here anymore. We're just going to have random guests. I think Piers Morgan did it himself say last night about how Susanna, she didn't get a fixed replacement, so they're kind of doing something similar and having. But the thing is, they're all presenters who've already been around. They've been part of the show, so it feels like a sort of, I don't know, like a bit of a makeshift.
It's a bit of a fudge, isn't it?
It's not this big reveal of like, who's it going to be. I don't think she wants anyone to outshine her. I think she wants to be the main person.
She's basically won massively here, hasn't she?
Yeah.
She suddenly ended up with a show on her own. Yeah. Which was a show she was originally brought in on by him. Yeah. Because he used to do it with Fern Britton, didn't he? Yes, because they met each other from it was Dancing on Ice days. And he brought her over. He made her career, and she's. I mean, I think she's really talented, and she's a very good performer. I think that's what's sort of shown after all these kind of weeks of this crisis is that she is a great performer, and she has been so good at putting on a brave face, going onto the sofa and sat next to someone who you were having these huge arguments with backstage. Yeah. So that's a talent in itself, isn't it? It is, absolutely right. Interesting that today ITV execs are being quizzed by the Department for Media, Culture and Sport. They say that it was always going to happen anyway, so it's not specifically about sort of Holly and Phil, but what's been happening there? Well, because that's happening next week, where they'll go, Carolyn McCall, the big boss of ITV, she'll go next week and have to sort of answer more questions. So we're eagerly anticipating that. For now, there was one interesting comment that was made. I don't know if you saw that Martin Frizzell, you know, he was saying about speaking to that Sky News reporter. Very curious sort of conversation. Very. So she had said basically, can you give us any comments on this toxic nature at This Morning, that there's all these allegations, and he started talking about aubergines and how he felt that aubergines were very toxic. And what was he going on about there? Absolutely no idea. But it was condescending towards the reporter,
and it just bizarre. It just made him look a bit weird.
Yes.
So anyway, in this thing today, they've actually kind of brought that up, and ITV have distanced themselves from the comments and said that they it's as if he's kind of dismissing these allegations because they're serious. There's been so many this morning colleagues who we've spoken to, on the record, off the record, and they've said about the bullying.
I mean,
nature
everyone
behind
says
the
it's a
scenes.
toxic environment. There was a woman who wrote a piece in Glamour magazine, wasn't there, at the weekend?
Yeah, that was interesting.
I've spoken to a couple of people that I know personally who used to work at ITV who have said it's absolutely toxic. There's no way that you could not say that it's toxic.
And I think also the way that he speaks, that journalist, and the things that he says and trying to make light of it kind of proves the point of
it. Kind of does. It kind of does.
It's strange.
So, I mean, it's I guess, business as usual now then from now on, because a lot of people didn't think that Holly would come back at all. They thought she'd maybe take another week off, but she's come back. Yeah. She's done the thing that she did yesterday. So I suppose it's kind of... eyes are kind of off it for the moment then.
Yeah, I mean, she came on today and absolutely nothing was said. I mean, we've got a story on the front page today about how she's kind of vowing never to bring up Philip's name again, because it will be interesting. The two of them haven't spoken.
They haven't spoken since they were on, even when they were on television together. Just 2 weeks ago they were not speaking, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
while they were actually doing the show together.
They were just reading their auto cue, and then in the breaks just total silence.
I mean, that must be very weird.
That's like us. We don't talk ever, do we?
Well, that would be like me and talking to you here, and then as soon as the camera mics go down, I just say nothing. And just look over there or something. I mean, I don't even know how you would do that.
That would be funny.
How would you do that? It's very odd.
That's the performance side of it,
But you see, because I'm not from television, I don't really understand that at all. I never understood that, oh, the lights have come on, therefore I am now me.
Yes,
because I'm the
ready.
same guy that I was before the lights came on. I haven't actually changed into something else, but obviously that's what these people do.
I can confirm that's true.
Yes, I mean, that's just what these people do. They kind of become their TV personality, and this is why, I mean, Matthew Syed wrote a really interesting piece, I thought, at the weekend, where he said that part of the kind of disappointment factor for people is that they did believe, they wanted to believe that it was this cosy little family, and that Phil really was this kind of rather nice, avuncular character, who was a bit quirky. They didn't really want to know what he was really up to, in the same way that Holly was thought to be this lovely kind of innocent young woman who's not that young, but also is pretty ruthless. Because she has to be.
Yeah, of course.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
To get to the top like that.
There's nothing wrong with it, but why pretend that you're anything but that,
But I don't think they were pretending for a long time, and that's why we noticed the shift, and viewers could sense the tension, because they had been for a long time going on holidays together, when they were off this morning.
The fact as well that their whole downfall happened as a result of that jumping of the queue during the Queen's sort of funeral mourning period.
It was interesting what he said about that, actually, Philip, because he was saying that he'd warned against doing it. But I thought, well,
I don't think that's true.
I mean, you could have just not gone.
Spin. I think that's got to be spin, hasn't it? Because he got that into the papers by saying that he'd emailed Martin Frizzell, and Frizzell basically had told him. It's the kind of Prince Harry defence on the Nazi uniform, isn't it? Well, William told me to wear it. I thought it was fine. But I guess Harry will now dominate the papers for the next few days. Yeah, so they get a break, don't they?
They will get a break, yeah, I think. And also, there's people in this. I said this before. There's people in there who, it's a very difficult time for a lot of people. Philip's wife, in particular, I'm sure. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know whether are they even together? I don't know.
He said that they are still together, because in that BBC interview he kind of flashed his wedding ring and said, we're very much together, although they're separated. Right. And they don't live together anymore. Yes. But I don't think they're ever going to.
I mean, he also did say that when he was doing his interview with Holly, when he came out as gay, that there was no secrets between him and his wife, which clearly was another lie, because there obviously were. Well,
yeah, he did admit that he'd had to have the conversation with her, which was one of the most difficult conversations of his life.
And his kids, I mean, you've got to feel a bit sorry for them, haven't you?
Yeah, I know. And they're really supporting him, and it's amazing, for him to be able to have them, because he kept saying if it wasn't for them, who knows? And I think, of course, we just want him to be okay mentally. He's going through a really, really tough time, as anyone would when they lose a job, and it's really tough. But I don't know what his next moves will be. Like, will he be planning it? I feel like he's been on the TV quite a lot lately. I feel as if he hasn't actually left yet. But it will be interesting. But I think
that's part of the process, isn't it? Mentally speaking, he probably thinks he should be on TV, and it'll take him a while to realise that actually nobody wants him on TV anymore.
Yeah. Do you think it's possible for a comeback at all?
I don't think so. No. I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's admitted to too much. He's admitted to being a congenital liar. He's lied to everybody. I don't think he's a credible figure anymore.
Yeah.
Really.
But it is bizarre that, 2 weeks ago he was putting out a statement that he was quitting this morning.
Yeah.
But he was still going to launch this new show with ITV. He was still going to be back for the Soap Awards. they're airing tonight, and he's obviously not on it. She's been replaced by Jane McDonald. But we actually thought at one point that he would be back on TV, and everything that's happened since then, it's just been.
It's obviously just got too toxic, basically. I think.
Yeah. Don't bring up aubergines because I don't understand.
No, I won't. I would never mention them. I quite like eating them though. Amanda, thank you very much indeed. Amanda Devlin from The Sun. You'll hear more, I'm sure, about the whole Sophie Schofield gate at some point in the next week or so. But tomorrow, I think it's all going to be about Prince Harry.